1. Give it a sec. There we go. We are live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Stand With Ukraine live stream. Today, I'm honored to be joined by Majid of One Free World International and also Icelandic MP Birgir Thordarson. Thank you both for being here. What I first want to say is that both of these gentlemen were on the ground back when there was the invasion of Crimea. They responded to that event. They had a very inspiring response to that event, and now they are responding to this event. Majid, why don't you tell us what's happening right now on the ground in Ukraine?
The situation is getting worse in Ukraine by the minute, if I may say. The Russian invasion and aggression is increasing in its strength. The Russian forces right now choking Kiev, trying to attack Kiev in every angle, but not only in Kiev, but even in surrounding major cities. We can see fights street by street. But the more disturbing thing is the refugees that running away from Ukraine right now to the Polish borders and other countries' borders, basically to take their children and to run away from this horrible situation.
So when it comes to the refugees, what is being done in preparation for this massive migration that's happening as we speak?
So as of yesterday, we're talking about 500,000 refugees right now. That's only in 5 days from the conflict. So this number will increase tremendously. And now, as Russian Putin will increase the fight and will increase targeting the civilians, we are expecting that these numbers will go in millions in the next few days to come. Right now, these refugees in Moldova and Poland on the border, they need an immediate help. And the immediate help will be clothing, clean water, food, medication for the wounded soldiers as well, toys for the kids to help them to deal with the trauma. But above all, they need the international community. They need us to be there to show our support to Ukraine and the Ukrainian people.
Can you talk about the journey that these Ukrainians have to go on to become a refugee? A lot of them are fleeing these war zones. What is that journey like, just so that they can become and get to a place where they're seeking refuge?
Basically, taking everything that you can take with you. And in this case, is not much of your memories. You leave your home behind. You leave your memories. You leave your country behind. I used to be a refugee myself. And I know the feeling of losing everything and just running away. Trying to help your family, trying to protect your kids. Now, in Ukraine, men aged from 18 to 60 is not allowed to leave. They have to stay to fight for their countries. So the majority of the refugees that we see today is only women and children, which mean that they are the most vulnerable, and we have to do something to help them.
How long do you foresee this conflict going on? Like a lot of people are wondering, this was so unexpected for so many people. So people are wondering what happens next. What are some of your predictions, or what are some of the things that you expect us to see over the next several weeks or months?
The Russians underestimated, and I need to make it clear about something. When I say Russians, I mean Putin, Russia. We don't hate the Russian people. We love Russian people, and we pray for the Russian people as much as we pray for the Ukrainian people. We are as believers, we don't allow hatred to be in our hearts. But when we're talking about Putin and his army, I believe that they underestimated the resistance in Ukraine and the resistance of the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian army. The major point here is that even if Kiev failed, and even if the Ukraine collapsed under the heavy bombardment of the Russian army, never underestimate the free will of the people and the will of the resistance. So this war can take years and years, because even when armies defeated, people does not get defeated.
I totally agree with that. At this point, I want to bring in Icelandic MP Birgir Thordarson. We've seen some incredible leadership from the Ukrainian government these past several days. As a leader yourself in your own country, would you like to speak to some of the leadership we've seen from Ukraine?
Well, I actually admire President Zelensky, how he has handled this very difficult situation. I'm a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee here in Iceland, And we met with the Ukrainian ambassador this morning. And it was just unbelievable to hear her story and how her country is being attacked by a superpower, and everyone is trying the best to defend their country. And so I admire those people, the ambassador, the president, and you can see that they have true leaders. So it's very important in a situation like this. And I want to thank you for having me here. I have known Majid for several years. We have traveled in war zones, Nagorno-Karabakh. We've been a couple of times to Ukraine, and I have been there myself. I'm actually a member of a committee for the Council of Europe. So I travel frequently to Ukraine and have met the officials there. These are very nice people, honest people, and I just hope that we will be able to help as many as we can in this platform.
Yeah, so thank you for referencing that and bringing that up. Right now, we have a fundraiser going for One Free World International so that they can provide the resources necessary to accommodate the massive influx of refugees. So anyone watching this, you can go to DonorSee.com/standwithukraine. If you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook or some other platform, you should see it in the description of where you're watching. So that link is DonorSee, DonorSee.com/standwithukraine. And anyone who goes there, you can donate any amount. There are 0% platform fees, and your donations are going to go towards One Free World International, which is a vetted organization under our platform, and you'll be able to provide direct relief for the refugees that are fleeing from Ukraine. I want to also now take a moment to talk about how the two of you know each other, and specifically, would you mind talking about some of the experiences that you've had in the past? Majid, I'll let you lead with this, but if the two of you wouldn't mind just talking about, sadly, you've seen this before, so you have the experience and you know what to do in this specific situation, which is why people should feel so comfortable supporting what you are doing. But would you mind talking about your experience in the past and how it's equipped you for this moment?
How I met Birger, it was a dark night. That's all what I will say about it. Actually, the first time we met each other was in Ukraine when we had a meeting with the Prime Minister of Ukraine at the time. So that's actually was the first time that we met. And after that, our relationship developed to another war zones area and helping the refugees. And just for everybody that's watching us right now, on March 8th, myself and himself will be landing in Poland and Moldova, and hopefully we'll be able to cross the border to Ukraine to be able to support the Ukrainian people. So we are always a good team. He's a very close friend of mine. He's a brother in the Lord, but above all, he's a gracious MP that knows the importance of standing strong in the midst of the storm.
Birger, tell us a little bit about some of your experiences with Majid and working with him in some of your past experiences together.
Yes, first time I met him, I felt that I have known him for many years. So, and he has been here to Iceland, met my family, and we had a wonderful time together. He is a great person. He has a big heart for refugees, and he gives everything he has to help people in need, and I really admire him for that. I have some experience working for refugees. I was working for the UN 2 years in the Middle East, and I truly know how people appreciate the help that people can do. A small amount, everything counts. And we also went together in Nagorno-Karabakh during wartime, and it was a quite experience. We visited a church, and we prayed in that church, and we could hear the shelling outside the church. This is something that I will never forget. This is one of the big moments in my lifetime and as being a politician. And I really admire his big heart for helping people in need. So I'm looking very much forward to our trip now to the border of Moldova and Ukraine and Poland and Ukraine, and to see the situation, and hopefully we will be able to help as many as we can.
Well, when Birger speaks about the time that we was in the church and there was heavy bombardment on the church, and we choose to pray. And I was praying. I just stopped anything and I just prayed and I said, Lord, if this is my time to go home, it's my time to go home. But what Berger didn't know, that I took him with me because I needed a human shield, but it didn't work. So,
that's why he's coming on this next trip, I assume. I want to talk about what the donations are specifically going to go towards. So everyone knows on March 8th, you all are going there. Now, the platform that people are going to use to donate, which is the platform that I founded, I'm the CEO of currently, and our team is fully supporting you all. So you can go to DonorSee.com/standwithukraine and you can support Majid's efforts. But on March 8th, he's going to be, both him and the Icelandic MP will both be on the ground supporting shelter for refugees, medical supplies for field hospitals, food and clean water, warm clothes and blankets for the people who are forced to flee. So all of the donations that you're giving, they're going to go to these supplies for these refugees. And then Majid and his team are already on the ground in Ukraine. And then Majid is going to personally go there to the border of Ukraine. He's actually going to try and get it. You know, you hear him say, I'm going to try and get into Ukraine. I think one of the things that I personally know about Majid is he will find a way to be where he needs to be to help the most number of people. I've seen that time and time again, and that's what he's going to do on this trip. And because you're donating through the DonorSee platform, you can also expect video updates showing you exactly how your donations are getting to the refugees in real time. That's something we want to really emphasize here. So anyone who makes a donation, you can go to DonorSee.com/standwithukraine, make a donation. We're looking for thousands of people to come alongside us and support this effort that Majid is doing. This groundswell of support is going to be very necessary to make this operation successful. And so Majid, we're really excited to support you, and we're really excited to follow along with what you're doing. And we're also really thankful for the bravery that you have to go there to the front lines of where this help is so desperately needed.
And we cannot go alone. And I just want to echo what you just said about DonorSee and this organization and this platform that occurred in my life. And I want to thank you, and I want to thank Patrick, and I want to thank Irina as well. Erin, sorry, that was out on the phone. I want to thank all your team, because your team been nothing but an absolute blessing to us in this time of need. And you guys always stood beside us side by side. And without you, and without the support, and without the support of the people that listening to us right now, we will not be able to make it. But if there is one thing important that all of you need to know, we already started the operation from day one of this war started. And some of our videos start to emerge when we're sending the aid and the food and the clean water to the refugees on the ground. So we are not waiting until March 8th until we arrive. We already started from day one. We have two teams on the ground, one in the border of Moldova and one in border of Poland and Moldova. Sadly, I had to pull both teams back inside the Moldovan and the Poland for a dangerous situation. We will be returned back again to Ukraine. But if there is anything everybody needs to hear me saying right now, is freedom is a bulletproof. And with this freedom comes a responsibility, and our responsibility today not to leave the Ukrainian people behind, but to fight side by side with them, and to help the people and to help the refugees, and to show them the love of God and the love of Christ.
Majid, I want to ask you, you have a lot of contacts in Ukraine, and I know that you've been interacting with them over these last several days as the situation has unfolded. Do you have any personal stories from people you're talking to on the ground there right now that you can share with us?
I think one of the pastors, Pastor Henry, one of the pastors that have a church in Kiev right now, and I was communicating with him, and this pastor don't want to leave his church. His church got under fire. He refused to leave the church, and he said, "I'm staying in my church. I'm not leaving from the house of God. And if I die here or I live here, I'm not moving." I think that's touched my heart a lot. The stories of the refugees. I just came back as well from Afghanistan myself. That's a different campaign. But I saw the refugees in Afghanistan and the pain and the suffer. And when you see the refugees in Ukraine and the pain and the suffer, We are all one race. We are all human beings. We are all brother and sister in the Lord and in humanity. And to see this pain, repeating over and over and over is really touch your heart. But in the time of massacre and genocide, you can see the worst of mankind and you can see the best of mankind. And somebody like Pastor Henry and some people like many of the refugees that we see, they're not less than heroes. I salute all of them, and I know that we'll meet again in Kiev. I know that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that story. And we have several staff on the ground. We have several contacts on the ground in Ukraine, and one of the things that's really touched my heart has been the level of courage and bravery that we just see across the board, the level of resilience. I think the entire world and even Russia has been pretty shocked by just how strong the people of Ukraine have been, and I've personally been very inspired by their spirit, and what we want to do with DonorSee and with One Free World International and with anyone who wants to support us is we want to stand alongside them, because they're in a tough moment, and if we were in the exact same moment, we would want the same thing from us. So I hope that people will check out DonorSee.com/standwithukraine, make a donation, and then not only make a donation, but we need you to share this campaign with as many people as possible. It's really important that we get the word out about this. Icelandic MP, I want to ask you, what are some of your expectations of this upcoming trip that you have? What are some of the things that you expect to see and hope to do while you're there?
Well, hopefully we can meet with officials like parliamentarians. I'm arranging meeting in Moldova and Poland with parliamentarians, so they will become to know that that we are going to do our best in helping the refugees that are coming to their country. First of all, I mean, of course, it's a bit shocking to know how many people are actually fleeing the country. I mean, latest number is 500,000 people. It's growing every day, and I heard that there's about 20 kilometers line of refugees trying to enter Poland, and hopefully we can discuss that with the officials in Poland, if they in a way they can help people in a faster pace, so they don't have to wait for many hours to get into the country. And of course, I hope that we can see the situation, how they are providing aid and food and stuff for the refugees. And as I said, I totally trust Majid in this. He's been all over the world, and he's the best person to be with in a situation like this. And I'm looking forward, and hopefully that we can help as many as we can.
Majid, can you give us a little? I know that people who are going to be donating right now and over the coming days and weeks, they want to know exactly how their money is going to be impacting the lives of real refugees. They want to know exactly what that operation looks like. Would you mind filling us in for some of the technical details of how you stand up an operation like this, and then how it's run? Would you mind going into some of those details?
Absolutely. So basically, the most important thing in the beginning is to have a blueprint of what's the need on the ground. So once you pinpoint what's the need of the ground, which we are discovering right now, tents, blankets, clean food, clean water, toys for the kids to help with the trauma, the medical care, and field hospitals, especially for the wounded soldiers or the sick or the ill from the refugees. When we are talking about 500,000 refugees in 5 days, you're talking about big community of people that you need to help. So once we pinpoint the need, what we do, that we go to the local countries where they are, and we buy this material from there. Why from the locals? Well, number one, because it's cheaper. So your dollar value goes a long way. So we don't buy it from here, from Canada, or we don't buy it from United States and after that ship it. Because if you did any shipment, it will cost you even more. There is 30% more just on the shipment. So we don't do that. We buy from the local countries where the refugees settled at, and then the transportation of these materials is much cheaper. So we gather this from the local. In the same time, we also support the local economy and the locals. So the locals as well feel they welcome the refugee even more. And after that, we have to deliver this material to the refugees, to the refugee camps, and we have to stay with the materials and this product until it's being completely and fully delivered to just expect, like there must be accountability that everything reached the people that they needed. You know, in every country, there is some corruption in different countries, doesn't matter. In every country, there is corruption in a way or another. And in every country, there is people that also can take advantage of the refugees. So we make sure that we stay with the product until it's been delivered, until we make sure that it's reached the right hand. We have people on the ground there as well, both in Poland and Moldova, that will be able to trust them to make the follow-up and to carry on the responsibility and the operation even after we're gone.
Yeah, I think that's so important that you have that background and that expertise. You know, one of the things that we see a lot at DonorSee are when there's an operation like this, you want to make sure that there is adoption from the people, the local people, the national people who are there, who live there on a regular basis. And so I think it's so crucial and so important that you're buying your supplies from those local people, because that is going to make them a lot more welcoming of the refugees. That's a really, really crucial part of the operation that you're putting together. The other thing, just to highlight one more time, if you go to DonorSee.com/standwithukraine right now, you can actually see a video that was posted by One Free World International. And the video is of the defensive position just on the outskirts of Kiev that Majid's humanitarian team had just took a few days ago. So they're really right there on the ground. They're going to continue to be posting these videos. They'll be posting the rescue efforts and the refugee efforts. And so we're just very excited to partner with them. We're very excited to see what they're doing. And we're asking everyone to donate generously. We need $300,000 in total to make this a successful operation. And so we're asking everyone to come together, share this campaign. We're not expecting any one person to help us do this, but we would love as many people as possible to get involved, big or small. We would love your support. There's a 0% platform fee on DonorSee. So when you donate, your money is going to help the refugees. And we're just very excited to partner with you all. Majid, before we close, is there anything else that you want to leave us with, or you think it's important for people to know as we come to the close of this live stream?
And my final statements, I've been in many wars, and I've been in many front lines. And I believe that I will live and I will die in one of these front lines one day. This is the calling upon my life, and that's what I was born to do. And I'm there every day because my loved one supported me and stood beside me. I will not be able to be there on my own. I'm there with all the people that God brought in my life to carry me on their shoulders. The one thing and the one element that I always see, that after every night there is new morning carrying new day. After every storm there is sunshine, and every persecution there is victory in Jesus' name. If there is one lesson that I learned in my life, freedom is a bulletproof. And the tyrants and the enemy and the dictators, they can always kill the believers, but they cannot kill the belief of our hearts. They can always kill the dreamer, but no one can kill the dream. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Majid. Thank you, Icelandic MP Birgir Thornton. It's been a pleasure to have both of you, and I hope that everyone will go check out that link. I've said many times on this, I'm really passionate about helping Majid and his on-the-ground efforts. Go to DonorSee.com/standwithukraine. You can see it on the screen there. It should also be in the description of wherever you're watching. You can make a donation. You can share this live stream. You can share the link, and we can help Majid and his efforts on the ground. And then, because you're donating through the DonorSee platform, you'll be able to follow along with Majid. So Majid, we're going to stand with you and stand behind you, and our community is going to come alongside you. And we hope to see a big groundswell of support. We'd love to see thousands of people donate to this campaign and follow along with you as you're providing relief to the refugees from Ukraine. And to the people of Ukraine, I know many of you are going through a very hard time right now, and I hope that you're seeing the response and the love of the international community. We are with you, and we are standing behind you, and we're mounting a response. Thank you all very much.